This is not a dress rehearsal. Bitcoin breaking out of a critical pattern. We've been consolidating here for 5 weeks. Is it now time for Bitcoin and altcoins to take their next big leg up? Could we be seeing Bitcoin knock on the door of 100,000 from this very same pattern? I'm going to break down the technical analysis plus what's going on in the wider market and why at the same time we need to exit just a little bit of caution. I'm going to break it down a lot more. If you appreciate this, if you want to trade this exact move, I'm going to be sharing with you. You can do so using the links in the description to Bybit or Mexi or BitGet, the platforms which support this channel. The links will be in the description. Get yourself some amazing bonuses. Try trading with some lunch money, right? If you're part of our trading community in the Telegram group, which you guys can check out, it's free, links in the description, you will know that I always start trading with a little bit of lunch money. Right? That's always my catchphrase. Practice with a little bit of lunch money. You don't become amazing at anything diving into the deep end. When you learn how to swim, you do it in shallow water. Same with trading. If you've had a feeling that you want to try trading, you can do so. Don't listen to the people that say, oh, it's super scary. It's only super scary for somebody who goes, oh, I want to learn how to swim. I'm going to jump into the River Thames. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Do it with precaution. Do it very carefully. Bitcoin breaking out of this symmetrical triangle pattern. And it's a very, very important bounce. I mean, if you take the bounce from the EMA ribbon, which nobody should be surprised, right? I said, look, guys, we're going to come into our EMA ribbon. We bounce. I said, look, guys, we're going to come into our EMA ribbon. We bounce again. This is now a nice bounce. If you take that peak to peak there, it's a 12% bounce off the EMA ribbon. Not too bad for a big $1 trillion plus market cap project like Bitcoin, right? Not too bad whatsoever. So now we need to understand, when is this going to break out and where can we head to? I'm going to share that with you, and plus what it means for altcoins. Okay, so if you watched my video yesterday, the day before, make sure you go watch that, because that's going to give you the negative side of the picture. My job is not to be a moon boy. There's plenty of those about. There's plenty of those about who just say, oh, Bitcoin to 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, and they will never tell you the other side of the argument. My job is to paint the picture of the research I do and share that with you. If you find that useful, make sure you subscribe, stay locked in this community, because that's what I'm going to stay true to. I have done for many years. I'm going to continue to provide that to you. That's what I'm focused on doing. So when you see this breaking out, you'll know in that video that in the back of our mind, we've got that tension around the macro economy. So I'm not going to labor that point here. Go watch that video where I talk about the fact that we may not get rate cuts. That will worry markets, right? You can see the traditional markets here are tentatively green, right? If you look at the NASDAQ, which we were correlated to on the way down, we're not correlated to it today, right? It's basically flat today, and yet Bitcoin is pumping 3%. So please keep that in your mind. Bitcoin can do that. Bitcoin can decouple. It can move on its own narrative, but we need to know when it's doing that and when it's going to get triggered by an S&P or a NASDAQ dump as well. We need to be cognizant of both of those dimensions. So for now, Bitcoin's moving on its own accord. We've identified that straight away. This is not a wider risk on move. Bitcoin's moving on its own accord. It's moved nicely. It's broken out of structure. We've got the higher high, right? Look at these peaks here. We've got a higher high above these peaks. But we don't have the higher high completely, right? We need to get a new all-time high above the candle wicks, call it 74,000, right? Just to touch that higher high, because at the moment, we've got this peak and we need to create a higher peak. We've got a nice low there. We've managed to create a higher low. Let's now go, maybe retest and accompany that with a higher high. If we're going to get a higher high here, that is fantastic here for Bitcoin, because that will touch, it can come back down, collect some support from the EMA ribbon again, and you just keep a nice upward trend going in that direction to the upside, okay? So very important that Bitcoin not only can break past the peak, which we're doing now, but also get the higher high. Now, the other thing to recognize is if you look at these bits here, we don't just want a candle wick above it. We've got a candle wick intraday above these. So we technically have gone higher than these candles here in this period, but we want to see a candle body close. If none of this is making sense to you, I highly suggest you check out my TA training program, ijazcrypto.com/TA. You can learn this stuff on your own accord. You can do so. Go to Google, go to YouTube, study candlestick patterns. Really, really important. It's one of the chapters in my training program, and it's very important because what we're seeing here is Bitcoin did wick up all the way here to 72.5, but what's going to happen by the time I upload this video? There's no point if we just wick all the way back down later in the day, end up with a doji candle, and now we're back in our pattern. We don't want to be back in the pattern. We want to break out of it nicely. So what I want to see here on Bitcoin is a daily candle close outside of this pattern and preferably above these bodies of the previous candles. Okay, so somewhere like here, call it, 72,000, close above today would be fantastic, right? A nice strong candlestick closing the day out here. Then what I'd be waiting for, if I'm looking to trade this move, is I want a confirmation candle. And a confirmation candle is waiting for the next candle to also open up green. What you don't want to do is be somebody who gets caught in a fake out here. Right? Everybody's like, oh, look, it's breaking out. Let me jump into a trade. And then boom, the candle sells off. Or on the next candle, which is tomorrow's candle, it just sells off and throws you back into the pattern. This is very, very common. How many times have I told you guys, and we've seen scenarios where patterns like this, right? Fake to the upside, to liquidate, take all your money up here, get you excited, and then just curls back down. Right? Or vice versa. It pretends it's going to break to the downside, liquidates all of you, and then it goes back to the upside. I've shared this trick with you guys many, many times. Please be cognizant of that. Don't want you guys to just get shaken out for this to then curve back to the downside. Now, what we're seeing so far is more liquidations. Right? This time, it's people who are shorting Bitcoin. So just in the last 24 hours, we've seen $200 million worth of liquidations. Majoritively, right? The vast majority, 130 million of those, were people shorting Bitcoin to the downside, expecting it to pull back. Well, there's a few ways we can take the price target. First thing we need to understand is this is a bullish continuation pattern. You had a big, bullish, impulsive move here to the upside, and then you consolidate for a period. Whilst the RSI resets, right, allows you to reset, because look, the RSI, when we went into this consolidation pattern on the daily chart here, was overbought above the red territory. Again, you're going to learn all this in the TA training program. This is overbought. Now it's reset. You've got some space, some breathing room to run again. And so now the question is, what's the price target? Well, there's a few ways you can do this. I can take the crazy price target, which I never like to do, but I'm going to show you this anyway. Take the full move, the full impulsive move, all the way from when we bounce off support at 38,000. Apply that to the point of breakout, right? I'm going to share a more, realistic one. And this will take you all the way to 105,000. Let's say that's ridiculous. Let's just take the initial move here. Let's not even take that full big move. Let's just take it from this point here, apply it to there, add that to the point of breakout, and you will see that this move brings you up towards $94,000. Big, powerful consolidation pattern, which if Bitcoin confirms the breakout of this, could be a very, very nice trade here. Again, if you want to take these trades, you can do so using the links in the description. If you want to see which altcoin trades I'm taking, make sure you're in our Telegram community. This move is a 30% spot move. If you catch this move, it's a 30% spot move on the biggest crypto asset, right? No mean feat whatsoever. That's a nice little trade there on Bitcoin if you catch this next leg up towards that $100,000 region. But you've got to be cautious, like I've shared with you. You have to be cautious. Now, if we jump down to the 4-hourly chart, now we start to see the granular detail, right? So I've just shown it to you on the daily. Let's zoom in now and look at the 4-hourly chart. And this is where you start to see, okay, what I was saying could be playing out. We got a big 4-hourly candlestick breaking out of the structure. Breakout candle, very nice. Closes above, very good. But look at the candle following it. It didn't give us the confirmation that I just told you I was looking for on the daily chart. It's giving you a sell-off. So very important that you don't get caught chasing these patterns. You want to be waiting for confirmation and then entering. So when you see this on the 4-hourly chart, you now want to see, okay, where do we end up on the end of this 4-hourly candle? Still another hour left. Will it do something like this? Can we then bounce, catch it on the retest, and then we can enter the trade as it starts to pick back up, right? So that's what I'll be looking to do. Your first price target is just to get to the peak, get back to the all-time high at 73.8, whatever it was, get to 74,000, and onwards we go up towards the next price target. So that's the structure I'm looking at here on Bitcoin. Now, the question then is, are altcoins ready to move? Well, if you take a look at the market, we're seeing altcoins move, but we are seeing select altcoins. I mean, if we take a look at Ethereum, we're up nicely here, 5% on Ethereum, sitting at 3.6K now on Ethereum, 3.6K. If you look at Solana, relatively flat, not moving here today, not interested. XRP, 3.4%. Phantom, another strong mover, up 6.3% here on the day. Powerful move here by Phantom. Again, remember, Phantom has a high level of beta with the high level of correlation to the market, right? When Bitcoin wants to do well, Phantom outsizes it. But equally, if Bitcoin dumps a couple of percent, you can see Phantom pulling back a lot. And that's where everybody's like, oh, I told you Phantom's rubbish. And they jump back in like, told you it's amazing. There's a lot of kind of euphoria in the market. So you got to kind of like learn to mellow out those peaks and troughs, otherwise you're just going to get shaken out. So it's now sitting at 92 cents here on Phantom. Other meaningful altcoins moving here to the upside. Algorand up 4.4%, sitting at 24 cents. You've got Near Protocol up 4%, sitting at $7. Any double-digit movers here today? Nothing really worth shouting home about in terms of double digits. But we are seeing altcoins move. And so if we jump on down to the Bitcoin dominance, let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance to see what it's telling us in terms of this story. And what it's telling us is Bitcoin's consolidated here in this 53% region on Bitcoin dominance. And just to remind you guys, in previous cycles, this has gone as high as 73% in the last cycle, right? So we are very far off historical Bitcoin dominance levels. Bitcoin has relatively to the market been much stronger in the last cycle. Now, I understand the argument will be that the market is more mature. Altcoins now carry themselves. Things like Solana, Ethereum, they have a life of their own. They don't need to, they won't necessarily give up the whole market to Bitcoin. But there's an argument to be had, and I can sit here and make the argument as well that, okay, maybe we won't get to 73%, but what about at least getting to here where I put this white arrow? I said this, months and months ago in 2022 even. Saying, what about at least getting to 60%, right? That's still a lower high, still trending down and showing that the crypto market is maturing, but still kind of showing some level of Bitcoin dominance. So for me, that's still something on my radar is, can we get a move here on Bitcoin dominance, at least heading towards that 59% mark? Either way, as long as Bitcoin is moving, as long as Bitcoin is breaking ground, that's what altcoins need. Whether they move now or take a little bit of time and then move there afterwards, ultimately Bitcoin is the pacemaker. If Bitcoin sets the pace, altcoins follow, and because there's lower market cap, because there's smaller projects, they move a lot faster. So exciting times here for Bitcoin. Good breakout here on the structure, but be very, very careful. Don't get caught in a fake out. Until we get that higher high, until we get a new all-time high, we're not really on track towards those price targets I was sharing, which is $94,000 and $100,000. Also, be wary of the macroeconomic picture, because that's still a little bit foggy, guys. It's still a little bit hazy, and I need you to go watch that video. Not because I'm scaremongering, I couldn't care less. In fact, I will get more views and more attention just saying, hey, Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, guys. But I want to tell you the truth. And that's why I made that video. Go watch that, because it will get less views. It gets less views than videos where I just pump the price of Bitcoin, right? But the reality is you need to know what's going on there. But at the same time, understand that Bitcoin, when it's in the mood, when a Bitcoin halving is approaching, will move on its own accord. If you appreciate this type of content, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. Join us in our Telegram community, ijazcrypto.com/TG. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.